I just want the ground to well and truly swallow me whole. I'm absolutely devastated, gutted that we're out. We lost against the Dirty Danes for the third time in succession. This time the worst of the lot. In the last 16 European Championship by 4-0. It was never a 4-game win anyway. The first goal was a Finlay beauty. Pot shot from the edge of the area. Danny Ward had a fantastic tournament, but there's no way he was going to reach that. It was a ferocious strike. Picked his spot and he hammered it past him. But the second goal was never a goal. Should never be given. Because there was quite clearly a foul on Kiefer Moore. People on television could see it, with the replays, and VAR could also see it. And I've said before, you're not just playing against the opposition, you're playing against the referee as well. And that is what we were up against from the very start. He gave the Dirty Danes everything. Who the hell allowed him to referee that game? Who in UEFA is making that decision? In the last 16 tie, with everything riding on it, they picked that sort of referee. He's another nobody that wants to make a name for himself. And he'll be happy. People will know who his name is now. They don't know everything about him. He's a disgrace, that guy. He knew exactly what he was doing. He gave us nothing all game. Very, very unfair referee. You know what I mean? It's not supposed to be one rule for one team, one rule for another. But it sort of was like that. To an extent. And when the fourth goal went in, you can tell he was toying with us. You can tell he was cock-a-hoop. Deliberately delaying the game with his fucking hands to his fucking ears or whatever. You know what I mean? And then he gives it after a minute. Well, you knew he was going to give it. He knew he was going to give it. So why pull on the bloody agony? Why put us through the ringer when you know your decision off the bat already? I don't know what's wrong with these referees. And also, it was stacked against our favours. We had to travel to the middle of nowhere, no man's land, while England were allowed to play at Wembley. How is that fair? Scotland playing at Hampden Park. How is that fair? And we had to track all the way there. To Baku, Rome, Netherlands. And the Netherlands, the Ferralties, whoever they are, allowed the Dirty Danes fans to go into the stadium, but they declined to give Wales one. I don't understand it. One rule for one, one rule for another. They seize the opportunity. They must have a personal vendetta against the Welsh. We wouldn't have caused trouble in Amsterdam. If it was English fans, yeah, maybe there would have been a little bit of fisticuffs. But what have they got against the Welsh, the Dutch? We've done nothing to them. I don't get it. Ridiculous. But other than that, I thought Bale did okay in parts of the game. Then he just downed tools. I don't know what he was playing at. Ramsey played the part of the Invisible Man. How many times did Robbie Savage mention on commentary, or Steve Wilson, Aaron Ramsey's name? He just disappeared. It was like he was back. It was like in the time machine. I was going back in time watching him, what he did for Arsenal, where he just defeatist attitude, didn't want to put himself about, didn't want to, score a goal. Like he was allergic to his teammates, like he hated them. And he did nothing in the game. His head in the clouds, thinking about something else. Not good enough. Dan James, not good enough. Again, we've seen another snapshot of what happened to Man United. He was explosive for Wales at the start of the European Championship, but he's gone back to how it was at Man United. Scared, rabbit caught in the headlights. Worried if he gets the ball, he goes past somebody, but he'll lose it straight away and his confidence on the floor. And I had sympathy for him when he got substituted in the group stage games, but not there. You deserve to be taken off because you were shocking, just like the rest of your bloody teammates. Kiefer Moore put himself about, but Denmark nullified the threat. And that basically happened when they changed their tactics. But I think Robert Page I've got to bow down to Robert Page. I think he deserves the job full time. I think he's done a fantastic job in the circumstances. But he was tactically naive against the Dirty Danes, just like Ryan Giggs was against the Dirty Danes as well. So, against all the odds, no one expected us to get out of this group. And England, you'll be out anyway. I know English would be rubbing our faces in it, but you'll be out on Tuesday and I'll be rubbing your faces in it. Because we weren't expected to qualify from the group. We weren't. You're expected to win this tournament, but Germany will beat you. And I'm confident they will. But again, it's the unfairness. You know, Boris has his faults, as everybody knows. The COVID epidemic tells you all that. But putting that to the side, at least he allowed a little bit of freedoms, more freedoms than we have in Wales. We don't have the freedoms that England do. People in England should count themselves lucky. Look what happens for us in Wales. Yeah, we've got less deaths than England, but you can still work around that. So we're stuck in North Korea. So the English people in England, you should be happy with your lot. Try living here and you'll see how tough it is. You try living this fucking this dictatorship like Nazi Germany. You try and have that. Let's see how you cope with a bloody week. You know what? They should do a television show. Yeah. Spend a trip in Wales for a week under these COVID guidelines, and let's see how you adapt to that. You know what I mean? So we should have loads of fans in the Welsh in Cardiff City Stadium rolling the team to victory. Absolute disgrace. It really is. It really is so pitiful. We're in this complete and utter mess. And England allowed to have home for supporters, Scotland allowed home supporters. We had to go away from fucking home. Doing a Matt Hancock, you could say. Going away, playing away from home. So yeah, I'm devastated. I really am. You're not going to win the competition. Dirty Danes. I think the Dutch will beat you, to be honest. But yeah, all stacked against us. But you know, look, we're out. But yeah, this is painful, and hopefully that an experience we got some in the team. Hopefully that is a launch pad to that will never let that happen again. I'm sure Alex Ferguson said that before. You know, when he was a manager of Man United, when we had a devastating defeat as well. That's not going to happen again, not on my watch, and hopefully the same applies with this horrible defeat that we suffered today.